everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Christy's Beautiful Life, 30 days of sketches. So today we have a sketch by Jessica Fenn Hill. So really cool sketch with the opportunity to use at least 6 different photos. I'm just going to use the 3 photos today, and then I'm going to do something decorative up here where these photos go. And I think this is a really neat sketch. It's not super busy, but it does give us the opportunity to do quite a lot with our page today. So what I've decided to use, I am again going to dive into my Hip Kit Club stash. And this is actually an older winter layout, or I'm sorry, collection. It was called Winter Moments with You. However, I am not going to scrap winter photos. I'm going to show you how versatile some of these kits can be, because depending on what they give you inside the kit, you can sometimes use them for anything and not just winter themed items. So I'm actually going to scrap some photos from our trip this summer to Memphis. And my husband and I were walking around Overton Square, and so I took some photos from down in the square, and I'm going to scrap these. So obviously this is not winter, okay? We went in July, so I needed to kind of work with this kit to be able to do some summer photos, and I've got flowers here. So of course, this flower paper stood out to me. So this is kind of where I got my idea to use this kit from, was from this piece of paper. And if you kind of look here at the sketch, you're going to see they kind of have these foliage here. So what my plan is to do is to cut out these florals and then use them as these pieces here, kind of build that there. You kind of get where I'm going from this. So this one's going to be fussy cut. And then for my main layers, I have picked out this wood grain, this kind of pinky color that I think goes well with these florals. And then I just have a piece of white basil cardstock. Now, I'm not quite sure what I want to do with all of the matting and all of that stuff behind it, so I do have the rest of the collection here. But for now, these are my main pieces that I'm looking to work off from, okay, for this sketch and these photos. Now, off to the side, I do have some sequins that I do think I'm going to make some shaker boxes. You will see some snowflakes in there. I'm going to have to pick out the snowflakes, but I like the blues and the pinks with this, so I thought that would go really nicely. And then I also liked this one here. This is an old Felicity Jane pack of sequins that I thought would kind of bring out the green as well. So I figured I could kind of mix these together and then get kind of a nice little shaker pocket. And then with the kit, I have a set of frames and chipboard stickers here. I have some other cardstock stickers that I could possibly use, an alpha, and then a pack of ephemera. So that is what I'm going to use for today's layout. Let me get started by simply doing my fussy cutting and then getting my main pieces ready to go. Okay, I'll see you back here. All right, so I'm going to get started with making the background to the page now. And as you can see in the sketch, there are 2 sections, one in the top left corner and one in the bottom right corner of where it looks like some torn paper. Sorry about that, I just knocked my camera just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and tear a couple of sheets of paper. I'm going to tear them together so that they both have this same tear line. This is just a little trick I'm sure y'all have seen. A lot of scrappers do, just to make sure that their tears match up with one another when they're doing something kind of like this, you know, a little more subtle tear. And I had to re-tear that there because I started going the wrong way. And I want the white to face me so that we can see the tears on it. So I went ahead and I did that with both sheets of paper. I've got just that pink sheet underneath, and I did the wood grain on top because I really like that pop of wood grain on there. I'm going to apologize ahead of time for all of the choppiness of the video. I kind of struggled a little bit with some parts of this, and so I cut out a lot of my, just kind of messing around with stuff. So here I'm just adding some Shimmers paints. It was, I believe it's She Packs a Punch by Shimmers. And I just wanted to get some of that mixed media in the background. I just did a little bit of splatters. Here I'm just going to start my photo block, and I'm going to put all 3 of the photos in a row right on the same piece of white cardstock. Here I didn't have any scraps of white cardstock, so I'm starting my new scrap of white. But I'm going to be working with this as a block, and I'm going to show you just how I do my first little mat, and then I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to add 2 more mats, one in a pink, a very light pink paper with some spaced out diagonal stripes, and then a stripy paper with some dark blue and light blue in it, just to kind of give a little more contrast. And there you go with my mats. I didn't make you watch me cut out those mats because, you know, I showed you the first one. It's exactly the same for each one. And I did go ahead and scuff up the edges so that they stood out a little bit more. And here I'm just going to use my T-square ruler just to make sure that's straight on the bottom, because this is a pretty linear layout with the way that the photo strips are, you know, put here on the paper. And I did want everything to be as straight as I could get it to be. So I do use my T-square a few times to make sure that that happens. So here is my idea for the top photo strip that we see on the sketch. I didn't want to use any more photos. I only had a few photos from our little trip to Overton Square while we were in Memphis, and so I didn't want to add anything else. So I decided I was going to go into these little chipboard frames that I had, and here you go. Here's where I skipped ahead because I was messing around and having some issues with things, so I did just skip it. But I decided to make a shaker pocket, as you can see, with the sequins that I showed you in the first part of this video, with the center frame, and then the other 2 frames I just backed with paper, and I'm going to embellish them and use them for journaling spaces once we get there. I'm showing you here's the flowers that I cut out ahead of time from that one piece of paper. It was really pretty, and it had all of these pretty colored flowers in all different shades and leafy bits and things. So I'm just kind of laying them out about where they're going to go. When I cut away in a moment, I will have glued them all down so you don't have to watch me do that. But this is basically where they're all going to be. And instead of the little tags or banners that were in the sketch, I'm going to put an extra flower right there at the top of the photo just because I had it and I think it's really pretty. So I decided to do that instead of the little banners. So here's everything all tacked down, and now I've got my title, which I called Walking in Memphis, because that is exactly what we're doing. We were taking a walk around Overton Square and just kind of taking in the sights while we were in Memphis. So I'm going to go ahead. I used the alpha that came with that Hip Kit Club and just spelled out Walking in Memphis. This was a really cool alpha because it came with one side was all uppercase and the other side was all lowercase, and they don't always do that. So this was kind of nice because I could make the top part of the title to be a little bit smaller than the Memphis, which is kind of what it called for in the sketch. It has like subtitle and title on the little sketch there. And so I think it worked out really well. Off camera, I went ahead and I picked out just a few little pieces of ephemera and some chipboard pieces because I really don't need much. What I'm doing now is I'm gluing on a piece that says getting around to the stuff we never have time for, and I'm going to glue that down here. I just added a little extra glue because it wasn't super sticky. They were falling off the acetate, so I decided to add some more glue to the back of that one. Here's a little bottle of champagne in an ice bucket because we were there celebrating our 26th anniversary. So I decided, yep, let's put the celebratory champagne up there. Here's another chipboard piece that reads fun. And I liked that. It brought like that darker green color up to the top. So I liked that. And here I'm going to play around with this 2023 little piece of chipboard because I just wasn't getting it where I wanted it, and it was frustrating me. So I kind of played around with that for a moment. And here I've got a string of lights, and I just liked how they looked hanging down from there. So I'm going to put a little glue on it, and I'm going to tack them up under those flowers. Of course, I drop it on my page because why not? And I am going to get rid of the little extra piece that's hanging off there because I just didn't like how it looked. But I do like the little hangy lights. I think they're really cute there. And they feel really celebratory. So I went ahead and did that. And right now I'm just scuffing up a little wordy bit that reads "you and me." And I'm just going to tack it up at the top of my shaker pocket with some foam. I just wanted it to stand up a little bit so it wasn't quite so flat against that frame up there. Okay, so I'm getting toward the end here. I'm adding another wordy piece that says "living your best life." And I'm just going to tack that down with a little bit of glue, adding a little bit more here to my lights because they were kind of wanting to come up. And I'm going to go ahead and write my journaling, which just gives the date of August 2023. And then I wrote our names and that it was our 26th anniversary trip to Memphis. So that's all I'm writing for journaling, just so that I can remember when we went and where we were in case I forget that this was Memphis at some point. So I'm going ahead to do that. And then I decide that I want to add a few little random sequins and some splatters. So I'm going to do the sequins first. I think that's what I do. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and just going to blob some glue here in the corner of the little thing that says fun, the little frame, that says fun. And I'm just going to let them dry. And then I'm going to put a few just kind of hanging out over here on this other frame. I kind of play around with this a bit because, you want it to look random, but you also want it to fall where you want it to fall. So I play around with it for a bit, and then I go ahead and I glue down these quote unquote random sequins, and then I move it, and it's frustrating. And you all know how it gets when you're trying to play around with just these. And this layout in general was kind of frustrating to me. I don't know what the deal was, but I was frustrated all morning trying to get this one done. But that's all I'm going to do with the sequins. I'm letting those ones over there in the fun frame just dry a little bit, and then afterward I will shake off the excess ones that didn't stick. I'm going to just add a little bit more of that She Packs a Punch shimmers to the tops of the florals here, just so that, it gives me a little bit of depth of the splatters and they're not only on the background of the page. And that is pretty much it. I'm going to remove this here, and here is the slowdown so you can see all of the dimension and the fun little shaker pocket. I did not fill this to the brim like I normally do because I wanted to allow for movement. So it's just got a partially filled shaker pocket. I love the dimension on the flowers. They turned out really cute, and I didn't even have to use a whole lot of adhesive on them. So there you go. That is day 2. And I hope you guys enjoyed this layout, and make sure that you check out the playlist and see what everybody else is doing with this sketch. And I hope y'all will join in. I'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.